Hello and welcome to ETG's The State of Play, where we give you the lowdown on travel to Asia and beyond. The show where we ask what the hell is going on and when can I go on holiday? It's Sam and Melissa here again, direct from ETG Towers, or what's left of it. As we did last week, we're going to go to Melissa and ask her to check us in with a 60-second overview of everything travel in Asia related. So, Melissa, how's it going?
Yeah, as I think most people now know, with the exception of France, we no longer need to self-isolate on return from amber list countries if we're double vaccinated. So good news for many people hoping to get away this summer. In terms of Asia, sadly, but not unexpectedly, Indonesia and Myanmar went on the red list. Last time I said that there was a chance that the Maldives would go on the amber list. It didn't, but with cases so low and concentrated away from the resorts, I'm still hopeful that it could get a look in at the next review in August. As I predicted, Thailand stayed on the amber list. The Phuket Sandbox is now in full swing, and it's also now possible to visit some of the islands on the east coast, although the rules are a bit different to those required to go to Phuket. And finally, cases are going down in Oman, somewhere we're keeping a close eye on as it's a terrific destination for an autumn or winter holiday. And other than that, not much to add really. North Korea is still on the amber list if you fancy giving that one a whirl. But yeah, that's about it really.
Brilliant. Thanks, Melissa. Well, let's invite you all now from the check-in to the departure lounge, where we'll just dive in a little deeper into some of those questions that Melissa raised there. So, first of all, let's get it over and done with. It's boring to talk about too much, but the red list. Do you think there's any chance that any country will ever come off the red list?
Yeah, it's a bit of a funny one. There's lots of countries on there that have just seem to be stuck on there, and I've sort of been looking on Twitter quite a lot, and it seems to be becoming quite controversial. In particular, countries like the UAE, Qatar, and Turkey, where a lot of people, there's a lot of expats, and obviously there's a lot of people with families in those places where cases are now actually quite low, but they're struggling to get off the red list. Yeah, I would imagine that at some point something's got to change. And obviously, we talked about the Maldives again; cases are low there, and we'd also love to see Sri Lanka get off the red list. I think the confirmed cases there they've dropped massively, and I think they're about 65 per million, I think, which is fairly low. They're making progress with the vaccines, and as we know, there's also a carefully planned programme in place for tourists to return. But who knows if any of them will go amber? Let's just wait and see at the next review. But I think some of those countries really should change now.
Good. Okay. Well, let's watch this space. So over to Phuket. Quite exciting for us because we've had there have been actual tourist arrivals in Phuket with the Sandbox. So how's it going? Are we talking mojitos on the beach there, Melissa?
Yeah, well, I think we are. I know there've been a few teething problems with the Sandbox, but I think they're getting them ironed out quickly. I think it's a good thing because it's any problems they do have, other destinations can sort of take note from really, and see what they can do or not do. But I think it's yeah, I mean, obviously you have to have tests when you get there, but I think it's sometimes we have to remember that the paradise is still out there, and it's not all doom and gloom, and it's not all difficult. So yeah, I would imagine lots of people are having mojitos and pad thais and beers on the beach.
You heard it here first. Paradise is still out there, so yeah, that's very good to hear. And it's a great name, isn't it? The Phuket Sandbox. The Thais are great at naming things, actually.
Yeah,
So
absolutely no idea what a sandbox is myself, but yeah.
I think it all about testing, playing, getting it right. So I think it's about right. But anyway, what's Samui Plus? Been hearing about that as well recently.
Yeah, so also this Samui Plus came into play last week, I believe, on the 15th of July. It's you can fly into Koh Samui, and after 3 days you're then free. So you basically have three. It's a bit different to the Phuket one because you do have to spend 3 days in quarantine in a hotel in Koh Samui, and then I believe you're then free to move around the island, and then I think possibly after 7 days you can then also go to Koh Phangan and Koh Tao. So
Okay,
yeah.
so it could be great for a longer trip or divers or something like that as an option moving forward.
Yeah,
And again, it helps.
possibly,
Yeah,
but I believe it hasn't. They haven't seen quite as many tourists as Phuket has, because obviously it's still a little bit restrictive. But hopefully a step in the right direction.
good. Okay, and then just at the end there, you mentioned Oman as a bit of a tip for booking now to travel later this winter, perhaps. What made you say that?
Well, there's lots of reasons I'm rooting for Oman. It's a great destination. It's really easy to get to compared to our other destinations. There's direct flights. Great weather later in the year. It's peaceful. It's socially distant, but also great food, culture, people, and mind-blowingly stunning scenery. It's definitely one of the biggest surprises of all the countries I've been to in Asia, and I think probably anyone else who's been there would agree with me that it's an absolutely fantastic destination.
Brilliant. Okay, well, thanks, Melissa. Well, that brings us to the end of the section to our next one where we say, don't quote us. So it's where we bring you some insider intel from Asia and or predictions. What have you got for us today, Melissa?
So nothing certain on this one, but I've started to hear a few rumours that later in the year Vietnam is going to introduce some kind of pilot program along this sort of similar lines to the Phuket Sandbox, perhaps on Phu Quoc Island or in the Nha Trang area on the central coast. It'd be great to see some steps towards Vietnam reopening because it's been one of the most cautious destinations throughout the pandemic. So yeah, don't quote me, but I have heard that there are some things in the pipeline there.
Brilliant. Thanks, Melissa. Now we've got a new section for this week. It's the weather, and we are lucky enough to have with us the actual Holly from Holidays Travel. So, hello, Holly.
Hi, Sam. Yes,
How you
thank you very
doing?
much. I'm well, thank you. Just about surviving in this heat.
Brilliant. Well, quick question for you, basically. Oman in the winter. What's the weather like there?
Well, as it happens, if Oman does open up in time for autumn, then it couldn't be better timing, as generally the best time to visit is actually between October and April, when temperatures are warm, on average around 25 degrees, and the days are bright and sunny. That said, October can feel pretty hot, 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 reaching highs of around 35 degrees in the afternoon. So make sure you slap on that sun cream and don't forget to pack your hat.
Thanks very much, Holly. I can't tell you how pleased I am to have the actual Holly from Holidays Travel appear on our show. So that's all we've got time for today. Before I wrap up, let me just remind you that we have an email bulletin which will make sure that you are the first to know on any big developments in travel in Asia. So sign up. I think it's below here. If we've got that right, sign up for that and we will let you know immediately what's happening. And that's all. In the next episode will be in 2 weeks' time, unless there's a massive bit of news first. But otherwise, we will see you in 2 weeks. Enjoy the sunshine and happy holidays. Thanks a lot. Bye.